Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Speak On It with your host Dom and Biv. Excited about this college football, college basketball, regular basketball. We got a lot of stuff that happened over the weekend, man. So I'm excited about it. But before we jump right into the show, make sure that you let people know that we are live on YouTube and Facebook. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Baseball news, exciting for me. Because we finally got a basketball, a baseball um, guy in the organization, in the front office, not Joe Girardi, but somebody who's going to handle the day to day. You know what I mean? Who has a track record. You know what I mean? So Dave Dombrowski, whatever his name is, can't pronounce his name, but Biv, do you think the Phillies got they got?
No, only because he's a guy that's about winning now and doing whatever it takes, and the owner still ain't gonna want to open up his wallet. So I think that's gonna clash eventually, probably within the next couple of weeks, considering that they're in the middle of winter meetings. But if the owner was on the same page as him, absolutely, because this is a guy that's proven that he is willing to do whatever it takes to win now. And the Phillies are a team that, in my opinion, should be in the win now mode with the guys that they have. And then you have guys that you can retain, but you're not willing to pay them. So you have a guy here that's like, pay them what they want. Let's go ahead and get it done, even if it's just for a year or two, so we can go ahead and get this World Series. Phillies win a World Series, all is forgiven for like in the next decade and a half.
Yep. So this is why I say yes, because when you bring in him, right, John Middleton, when you bring in Dave Dombrowski, you know what he's about. Nobody else wanted the job, right? According to Theo Epstein, he was linked, right? Didn't want it. There was another dude that was linked, said he's staying. But you bring in this guy. You bring in this guy, it's win now. Like we should have been win now, right? We went and got Gene Segura, who was an all star. You get JT Realmuto, who's an all star. You bring in Bryce Harper, an all star. You bring in Zach Wheeler. You have Aaron Nola. You have you bring in Didi, former all star. You have all these win now players. So he's the perfect fit to me. So I think that when you having that interview and you're having that conversation, I don't think Dave takes this job if Dave is saying, we win now. We're not winning now. John Middleton has to be saying to him, okay, it's your job. You do what you got to do. That's why I said I think he brings back JT Realmuto. I think he brings back Didi Segura. I think he makes a move to try to bring in. Honestly, when I saw it, I said, "Bet we about to get Bauer." First thing I said, we gonna get Trevor Bauer because he or somebody like that because that's what he does. He goes out to get those type of players to push you over the top. And if you hire him and don't allow him to do what he does best, to do his job, I don't understand why you brought him in. Also, what I want to say is, I think he was with the not the White Sox, the Marlins. He was with the Marlins 1993, 2001. He won the World Series in 1997. So it took him about 4 years to win that World Series with the Marlins. With the Red Sox, it took him 3 years. So I won't say that it's going to be a overnight fix. But I think that he is the right guy because I think that he knows how to build a franchise. He knows how to build a winning organization. But with all the pieces that you did bring in, John Middleton, Clintack, whoever it is you want to say brought those pieces in, I think you have those pieces. But I think that he needs to put his stamp on this team and say we are in win now mode because the players that you have scream win now. They don't scream rebuild. They scream win now. And he also builds. He knows how to build young talent. He knows how to build a performance system.
Actually, his track record is blowing up farm systems. So his track record is blowing up farm systems in order to win that. So I think, which I think is not a bad idea, especially when you're in a city like Philly, because the fan base is about winning right now. Like next year don't matter, 5 years don't matter. Right, only matters right now this season. So when you're in a city like that, I think this is the perfect guy. Again, the owner has to be willing to open up his wallet and pay some guys. That's it.
With you.
I think they got the right guy. I think they got the right guy for the franchise if the owner is going to let him do his job.
And that right there, John Middleton has to take a back seat and say, I was too involved in other things like Andy McPhail, Matt Klentak. If they wanted Manny Machado over Bryce Harper, he should have allowed them to say, I'm gonna get Manny Machado and fail with that, as opposed to saying I want Bryce Harper because he is box office. He's gonna put people in the seat. That's who I want, and that's what I'm gonna go get. He needs to be a little bit of hands off if he wants to win the World Series. He can't be that owner. He can't be Jerry Jones. He can't be Jerry Jones. You got to be hands. And Jerry Jones know how to put a team together. He just don't know how to sit back. You know what I mean? He can't be that. He can't be that. He has to allow this guy to do what he does.
Only time would tell. I know there's a lot of free agents still available that could fill holes that the Phillies need. I think the next couple of weeks will tell whether or not the owner still has a tight grip or if he's starting to fall back a little bit.
Yeah. I think, man, listen, the biggest thing, like I know a lot of people be like, well, you are not a player away. Well, it's baseball. You get the right player in, you change your franchise. We've seen teams go on runs. We've seen teams get hot in the postseason and go on ones and win World Series. We've seen that with the National. We see that, and I'm not saying that the Phillies don't have are one player away, but in all actuality, all reality, I think that they are. I think any team a lot of the teams are in baseball could be one player away to go on and win a World Series. You get the right pitching staff with that team. There's no way you can tell me that they can't win the World Series. They actually have bats.
I think the Phillies are bullpen help away from truly competing for a World Series title. That's it. I think you have quality enough starting pitching. After Aaron Nola, I think the rest of these guys, they're not great. They're not, questionable aces or anything like that, top of the rotation guys, but they're solid enough with those bats. Even if you don't bring back Didi and JT, you bring in serviceable guys at that position. And me personally, I would reward, if I can't get JT, I am solely focusing on a freaking Avengers type bullpen to make sure that we are solidified there if we are short in other places. So you can't get an all-star catcher or replace Didi with an all-star caliber shortstop. I'm gonna go and get Ultron for my bullpen. It's just that simple.
And being real, that's my focus. That's my first focus. I know JT. I love JT. I mean JT of course will be top priority. But we've seen that we've had JT for 2 years. We've had Bryce. We've had all these bats, and we missed the playoffs twice. Why? Because bullpen help. You go into 6, 7, 8 inning, 1 run, 2 runs lead, or 1 run, 2 run lead down, and your bullpen can't do. Your bullpen can't. They can't close the game out.
Yeah, they can't hold. They can't hold leads, and they can't keep them in the game when they're down by a couple of runs. Next thing you know, it's ballooning. So
like I said, I'm with you. That's my first. That'll be top priority to me. Is that figuring out how to fix that, and then building out. Because I think, like you said at the top, not JT, Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, they're good enough. I believe that those two are good enough. You bring in another serviceable enough starting pitcher, and you're working with something. You don't need a overhaul. You need a couple of nice pieces to win.
They're there.
So, jump in right from baseball to basketball real quick. Paul George been in the headlines for a couple of different things. One of the things we didn't talk about on the show, I don't think we talked about on the show. I want to talk about it real quick before which will lead into the question we have. He made a comment about Doc Rivers, and I think we did talk about it. We talked about it a little bit. He made a comment about Doc Rivers, and Doc Rivers didn't use him correctly. Doc Rivers was using him like Ray Allen. Doc Rivers was using him like JJ Redick. But then Doc Rivers responded and said, well, I think Paul George is full. This is essentially what I get from it. Paul George is full of it because I used him in more pick and rolls than he's ever been in his whole career. 33% of your scoring buckets was been pick and rolls, Paul George, when 25% of it was your previous career high. So, for me, I lost a lot of respect for Paul George when he made that comment because it was like he was deflecting on his poor play onto a coach who was no longer there, who put you in every position to succeed. So, do you like Doc Rivers responding to him or not?
I think Doc Rivers' best response was the guy that's your head coach now was sitting right beside me. So any adjustments that we didn't make, anything that, Ty Lue had a major say in it, and you advocated for him to replace me. So you kind of was like talking for no reason, in my opinion. Paul George, shut up. You got your money, and then go out and ball and prove everybody wrong. That's it. It's just that simple. He needs a huge season. Matter of fact, we can segue right into the other topic. This is the guy that has the most improved this year going into the 2021 season. Paul George. Paul George has the most improved. I was leaning towards Kawhi because he had that run with Toronto, and then he had the bad. But I was like, you know what? No, I felt like Kawhi was himself. He had a couple of bad games, but Paul George was terrible for majority of the bubble, not just the bubble. He has the most to prove. I felt Doc. Like, you can't come at me when you were the guy that didn't get the job done. I felt like there was no adjustment that needed to be made by the Clippers. The Clippers players just needed to play better. It wasn't like you were getting ran out the gym. You were blowing big leads. So I don't understand. I don't even understand why Paul George would do that other than he's weak. And he don't want to take responsibility for his own shortcomings last year. But to deflect and to try to put the blame on to your coach, that's not a good look.
Yeah, that's a trash move. And like you said, I do like what Doc said. Ty Lue's an extension of me. You got that guy, yeah. I mean, and it's not going to be that much of an adjustment. So you got to learn how to play with it. A couple things that Doc Rivers said that I loved. Yeah, I mean, he said because Paul George said he's using me like Ray Allen. Doc Rivers said that Ray Allen's I would love to be compared to Ray Allen or to be used, but like Ray Allen. He's a special player. He also said that he feels as though that the previous Clippers, the Clippers that were there before Paul George and Kawhi Leonard got there, they feel as though that they had an issue receiving some of the other guys that got there, and he said that they actually loved Kawhi Leonard. So I feel as though that was a shot at Paul George. I think Paul George puts himself into a class that he's not yet been able to get into. He thinks once he steps on the court or when he steps in the arena, he's on the same level as a Kawhi Leonard or a Anthony Davis or LeBron James, and he hasn't really earned that type of status. Like Paul George, you are
I disagree.
I don't think Paul George. I don't think Paul George is a. I don't think Paul George is a number one. I think Paul George is maybe a number two. And everywhere you like.
Talent wise, Paul George is a number one. Like he had that Pacers team on the brink against the Heat. Then the injury. Then he comes back. I thought he was a number one in OKC. MVP caliber season. But we knew they weren't going nowhere with him and Russ. I think at the right situation, I think he could be a number one. I honestly, and this is just me, I think he should be the number one with the Clippers. I believe that Kawhi is more suited to be, and I hate always having to go there, but we're talking about two wings, Jordan and Pippen. I believe Kawhi is more suited to be Pippen, and Paul George is more suited to be Jordan. Not saying that he's Jordan, but I'm just saying in that situation, I believe that Paul George is the better scorer. I believe Kawhi is the better defender. I believe that if you were to put Paul George in a position where he would have to carry the load offensively, he could do it. Kawhi could do it as well, but I personally would have Kawhi more focused on playing the defensive end, even though he probably isn't feeling that right now. He wants to be known for his offensive game. But I think Paul George is a better offensive player than Kawhi. Where Paul George is falling short is he has not shown up consistently in the playoffs. And it hurts even more when you give yourself a nickname like playoff P. When you haven't shown up in the playoffs. Can he be a number one on a championship team? That remains to be seen. But I don't know if Anthony Davis can.
Hey, listen. You didn't say it a lot right there, but I guess I'll tap into that after that comment. After I say what I gotta say about this one, this is why I don't think Paul George has earned the right to get into that class. He hasn't. We can say no. We're gonna get to AD since you brought that up.
That was the only problem that you said AD. I was like, I don't know about AD either. I agree with you. Talent wise, yes. But what he's done on the court, no. He is not in their class. Not even close to being in their class because he keeps falling short in the playoffs. It's one thing to lose in the playoffs. It's another thing to lose in the playoffs and you play terrible over and over again. Because even though that Pacers team, like he was the guy, Roy Hibbert was the one carrying them in that series. Paul George was having some terrible games in that series. He was the main guy. And he was the guy that was supposedly carrying them, but in that series against Miami, he was bad. So he's got a lot to prove to me.
I'm glad you brought up that. Well, shoot, listen, we talking track record with Paul George. I think Paul George is a great player. I think he is an all-star. I think he had the one great MVP type season, defensive player of the year type season. But I still think Brody was the engine on that team. He allowed Paul George to actually be Paul George. He pushed Paul George into being a superstar because I think that he wanted to, and I think he rightfully should have, because I think Paul George is actually the better player out of Brody and Paul George. I think that Paul George, he's the better player, the more talented player. So I think that he should, and I think that was Russell Westbrook saying that I messed up before by not giving Kevin Durant the reign. I'm not going to do that again with Paul George. So I think that that's when we see him become great. I don't know if Paul George is a better all-around player than Kawhi Leonard. Actually, I'm going to say that to me, I don't think he is, because I've seen Kawhi Leonard prove that he's the better all-around player. He's actually won a championship. He's won 2 championships. Now, you get the San Antonio championship, you can say he had 4 other all-stars. They were older, yada, 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 whatever. I mean, but you saw that he wanted to take that job, that onus, and say, I want to be the guy. And then when he went to Toronto and actually won that championship, albeit there was rattled with injuries. The Golden State Warriors was rattled with injuries. I seen him take down Giannis. He took down my Sixers. You know what I mean? So I've actually seen Kawhi Leonard be that guy. So he played himself into that class. Paul George, you want perks and you want all these things, but you in order to get into that class, you got to be able to. You got to be able to.
Got to do it on the floor.
You got to be able to go get into go do it on the floor. So I'm with you. He can be in that class, but he got to earn the way.
He's got to earn it. He has not proven to be, in my opinion, and I know talent-wise he's the top 15, top 20 player. But what he does on the floor, I don't think I'm not sure if he is. You can argue 15, 20, but there's other guys that right now that are ascending as Paul George is at least staying the same. He may not be on the way down, but he has not ascended. Where a guy like a Bradley Beal and a Devin Booker, those guys are ascending. Those guys are going up. I don't think Paul George is going up. I don't think he's going down, but he's definitely not going up.
I'm with you. So before we get into, I know you segued and you gave your most the guy that had to prove. I want to ask you this question. Since we staying on the topic with Paul George, he signed that contract, 5 years, $226 million extension, I believe. Do you think it was a mistake on his behalf and or mistake on the Clippers' behalf?
I think it's a good look for both of them. I think the Clippers, considering their history, you got a guy of that caliber, you make sure you can sign him long term. Just because the history of their franchise has been one of losing. So you got a guy like that, at least you're showing your fan base that you are invested in winning for the future. So I like that, even though, what am I about to say? I don't like it for Paul George. One, he's in the locker room with a little brother. So to me, the expectations are going to be even higher being with the Clippers because that fan base is like, we've got to get past the Lakers. We got to get past the Lakers. And then that you're sharing the same building with the Lakers. They've got LeBron. They've got AD. And they're going to continue to get better. So I thought Paul George, that long-term 5 years, I think that probably was a little too long for him. I think, 2-3 would probably have been best for him.
For me personally, I think it was great for the Clippers because, like you said, who was a free agent that actually chose to go to the Clippers? Them two chose to be there with the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So for the franchise-wise, I think to lock up a guy of that caliber, I think it was a great move for them because I think that's the marquee guy. That's a marquee guy. And I think next year he had a player option, so I think he might have waived that. So I think it was great for the Clippers. I think it was bad for Paul George, and here's why: because I think that Paul George is still in the prime. He can ascend. He's ascending to me, or he can ascend to being a great player. But you ain't win no championship without Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard has a player option after next year. And I would have mirrored my contract like y'all did. I would have mirrored my contract to match Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard said if Kawhi Leonard opts out next year and goes elsewhere, you think the Clippers are a contender? You think the Clippers are going to bring in a marquee name to play with Paul George to where they can compete in that gauntlet in the West? So if I was Paul George, I would have waited. And then I get it. He said the Clippers has been his favorite team. That's his hometown. He wants to bring them a championship. I get that. But you ain't doing it alone. You being the number one guy in the West, the gauntlet that is called the West, you ain't doing it without Kawhi Leonard. Heck, you might not do it with Kawhi Leonard, but you got a better shot with him there. So I would have waited to see what Kawhi Leonard did. I just think it was a little bit premature. I get it. And maybe he wanted to do it because it was so much heat on him. You want to let people know, hey, I'm here. Want the fans know I'm here. I'm here long term. This is my hometown. This has been my favorite team. And we've seen Paul George can be persuaded. Russell Westbrook went to him, locked him into a room, locked him into a gym, made him sign a contract. We see a year later he went out. He asked for a trade. If you were gonna ask for a trade a year later after y'all just came from the playoffs, why did you sign the extension? Why not just go to where you wanted to go in the first place? So we see Paul George can be persuaded, which is why I think he got into this contract. I think he was persuaded into this contract.
Yep, he got talked in. He got talked into it. I don't think he really thinks long term. I think he thinks right here, right now. Oh, 5 years, $226 million. Sign me up. And then next year, Kawhi don't sign back, and he's like, "Man, I shouldn't have done that." But dude, you should have thought about that before you inked the deal. Especially considering that you were still under contract anyway. You didn't even have to sign the extension yet. So,
because I think he had 3 more years. I think he had 2 more years. He had a player this year, a player option, then a year after that.
So, I don't know. I don't think it was a good look for him just because of his indecisions and his instability. I don't think long term is something that he really considers. I think he's a short term thinker. I don't think he's a long term thinker. But again, the Clippers, this is great for them because it's showing the fan base that we are investing in trying to win and compete for championships. So it's a good look.
I got you. All right, so basketball. Player I think that has the most approved this year. I'm gonna tell you, I struggle back and forth with this one. I like your Paul George answer. I want to go John Wall. I want to go Joel Embiid. I want to go like it's so many directions that I can go in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after watching last night's Houston game, I came to this conclusion. I think Boogie has the most approved this year.
You said Boogie?
Yep, Boogie Cousins has the most approved this year. I don't think that there's a lot of pressure on him, but I think internally, I think that he on himself is going to say, I have to prove a lot. You're talking about how far he has fallen from grace. We're talking about he was a top 5 big, maybe a top 2 big in the league.
He was the best big in the league.
The best big in the league. 2 injuries. And this man is on a 1-year, $2.6 million contract, and he might not even start. I'm looking at the projections. They're talking about he might not even start. Christian Wood is projecting to start over him. Nah, bro. Christian Wood ain't starting over me. That man had 15 games in the NBA. 15 games. 15 good games. Nah, Christian Woods ain't starting over me, bro. James Harden don't want to play. I don't care. I'm gonna go out here. I'm going to ball. I'm going to do my thing. I think he's gonna have the most to prove this year, and I think because of the transition that the Rockets are in, not knowing what James Harden is going to show up, not knowing if James Harden is actually going to play, I think that Boogie can be a breath of fresh air for this team if he gets back to that best big man in the league status, where they may be able to ink him to a long-term deal if he can prove that he can remain healthy, stay healthy, and get back to that MVP type level. He just has to want to appear, and then he just got to stay healthy. But I seen the skill set was on full display last night. The skill set was on full display the last time we saw him play in Golden State. He just need his conditioning better, and he got to get mentally stronger. And again, stay healthy. But the skill set has not diminished. He still has that skill set. I think he's going to have a lot to prove.
I get you. I get it. And I feel you. I think that franchise is probably the franchise that has to prove the most, considering the complete overhaul GM, coach, and now superstars. So I think they gotta have a lot to prove. I'm with you though, man. Boogie and John Wall, that could be a good combination for the Rockets moving forward if they can stay healthy. The only issue is I don't think people are high on them because the track record is proven they can't stay healthy. They can't stay healthy. So to me, if this was 5 years ago, the Rockets would probably be one of the better teams in the West. People be talking about, are the Rockets? Can the Rockets contend and compete and challenge the Lakers? That would be the conversation with those two guys. But their recent history is they can't stay healthy. So yeah, I'm with you. They do got a lot. Both of them have a lot to prove. For me, I would say John Wall more because he has the contract.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
He has the contract, and no disrespect to DeMarcus Cousins and all the other bigs, but John Wall plays in that position that is stupid deep. Yep. So he's going to be challenged every single. There's no nights off at point guard in the NBA. There's not a night off. And that, to me, is why he's going to have a lot to prove, because people are going to be looking at him like, how is he comparing aging? Because he's getting older. How is he comparing to the young bucks that are coming in? And you think some teams have 2 or even 3 point guards that could go and start in other places. So he's got a lot to prove.
So I agree with you. I chose Boogie because that's a player I think that's going to put a lot on himself to want to prove something. Now, if we're talking about how you did it, where there's somebody that needs to prove something, not put it on himself, but that needs to go out and prove something, it's Joel Embiid. To me, Joel Embiid has to be that guy that you have to be. You got to go prove it. You talk a lot. There's a lot of talk. You in the city. The media is crazy. You want to win the championship. You've been talking about, I want to be an MVP. I want to be a defensive player of the year. And you didn't even make either team last year. You got to be that guy to go. To me, he's the best big in the game. He went on. There's nobody that can stop that guy. It's just that.
But
I don't know. I don't know if you're going to be on, Joel Embiid. So because I don't know if you're going to be on or what you're going to be on or whatever it is, I gotta say there are 2 bigs that I will put ahead of you right now. Maybe 3. Yeah, I mean 2 for certain. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. It's just probably my Philly fandom coming in and my anger coming in. But I don't know if you're going to be on. So that's why I talk about you have to be somebody. Because I think that you and your counterpart can be the best 1-2 in the East. I think your counterpart can be the best player in the NBA.
I was going to say, I think they could be the best 1-2 at their potential. They could be the best 1-2 in the league. Because they have that big wing dynamic. That is hard to stop. We just seen what LeBron and AD were able to do. It's hard to defend. But here's what I say about Joel. The Sixers need to invest in him. Like, he needs a live-in strength and conditioning coach, a live-in nutritionist. Like, he needs somebody there to make sure that he is doing the proper things to stay in shape year-round. Because it looks like he comes into training camp out of shape, and then he's not in shape until almost All-Star break, and then he goes and gets out of shape with an All-Star break again, and then he got to try to work himself back into shape for the playoff run. Like, that's his only downfall, in my opinion. Yeah, he's offensively, he's as gifted as he is. He's challenged in moves. He doesn't have a lot of moves, but it doesn't stop him. People still can't stop him. He, you know what I mean? The only thing is he can't stay on the floor because he'd be tired. And then down the stretch, he can't be effective because he's tired. That's it. That is it. Strength and conditioning coach and I don't know what to say about Ben, because dude showed he can shoot. He just doesn't shoot. So I don't know what to do. I don't even know what to say about it. What do you need? A mental health coach or something? Like a confidence coach? I don't know what he needs. A sports psychologist. He needs a sports psychologist. I don't know what he needs, but those 2, which is why I be so mad at them and why I'm always like, you know what? I'm not gonna get high on them because they're gonna let me down. I'm not gonna get high, but that's a dynamic duo. And again, at their peak and their potential and what they're supposed to be, the best duo in the league, man.
24-26. With those skills, Ben Simmons, you're a 6'10" point guard, bigger than Magic. You're 6'10", 250, 60 whatever pounds, bigger than LeBron. People dubbed you the next LeBron, the next Magic Johnson. Bruh, potential. We just talk about straight potential. That's it. Now, people, since we talk about them two, they should be my most teams with the most approved, right? Nah, that's not my team with the most approved. It's the Bucks. The Bucks is my team with the most approved because y'all got knocked. Y'all have been the best team in the regular season for the past 2 seasons, and you've gotten knocked out. You've gotten knocked out of the playoffs early the last 2 seasons. One of them, you lost 4 straight. Another one, you lost to the to the Heat, and Giannis didn't show up. Let's say what it is. That man averaged 21 points per game. You averaged 30 in the regular season. You averaged 21 in that series. Giannis didn't show up. That's the team with the most approved to me. I know Bud has won 60-plus games, I think, twice in his career. He on the hot seat to me. He's on the hot seat to me.
I thought he should have been fired. Me personally, but I think the bubble saved him. I got 2 teams. I couldn't make up my mind. The first one is yours, the Sixers. This is again, man. They were supposed to take over the East 2 years ago. They were supposed to have been. It was supposed to have been Philly and everybody else in the East with that pairing. I think now you add Doc, you add Daryl Morey. I believe the pressure is on to get results immediately. I believe that they starting to put together the right guys around them too. Shooters. That's all you need around them too. And then out west, it's got to be the Clippers. After all the hoopla, and then the players seemed like they were blaming Doc. You get Doc out of there. You bring in Ty Lue. Put up a shut up. Just put up a shut up to me with the Clippers. Put up a shut up with the Sixers. Only difference is I felt like the Sixers should have been at this place again 2-3 years ago. But the Clippers, there's what's going to be the excuse if you fail this year?
The Lakers were better. Maybe I don't know.
Fail because you can lose, but not fail. I believe you go in there, you get to the Western Conference Finals and you lose in 6 or 7 to the Lakers. That's not fail. That's just
that's just the law. You lost to a team.
Just a sad end to the season. But you blow a 3-1 lead again to anybody. I don't care if it's the Lakers. You blow a 3-1 lead again against somebody. That's fail. You lose to somebody other than, in my opinion, Denver or the Lakers. That's a failure. Those are the only 2 teams that should be challenging you. Oh, I'll take that back. In Dallas, because Dallas would have beat you last year if Porzingis was healthy. So I'll take that back. You lose to anybody else other than those 3 teams, it's a failure. And it also depends on how you lose. You get swept by those teams, it's definitely a failure. The Clippers have the most to prove because all of a sudden people were saying Kawhi was the best player in the league. He goes blow a 3-1 lead. Now all of a sudden Kawhi ain't even in the top 5 no more. I'm like, really? Like, okay, but Kawhi not in your top 5 no more. That team has a lot to prove. Montrez said, I don't even want to be there no more. I'd rather go to the Lakers. Or according to him, the franchise said they didn't want him there. And so he left. A lot to prove in Clipperland to me with those 2 wings, and they still have depth out of this world with Reggie Jackson and Lou Will and whomever else they have. Man, the Morris twin. They still have the depth and in the superstars to win. So pressure's on. So,
hey, listen, I love both your picks. I want to touch on them real quick before we move on. Right, Sixers. Like I said, I wanted to pick them. I just think that Milwaukee has not done enough, maybe to keep me honest. The Sixers have shown that, okay, they brought in Doc and Daryl Morey and the infrastructure. They're trying to get it turned around. So, but I'm with you. If the Sixers don't make some significant move on the court, we can see that pairing that they should never touch. We should see it. We can see it blown up. And for me, that 24 and 26, that's you're at the peak when you're starting to contend for championships. I think that their timeline has been so accelerated because of everything that's going on in the city that they live in. That's why we see so much hoopla around can they win because of the talent. Everybody sees the talent. So I'm with you with the Sixers. And the Clippers, I'm with you, bro. Like, y'all brought one because of all the draft capital, not even just the draft capital, but everything that was given up for Paul George. 5 first-rounders, 2 pick swaps, Danilo Gallinari, Shea Alexander. That's like 8, 9, 10 first-rounders for Paul George.
Yep.
Y'all under a lot of pressure. I got a lot to prove. Y'all kept talking about we want the Lakers. We want the Lakers. We are coming. Pat Beverly legit said this to Steph Curry. You ran the West the past 5-6 years. My turn now. He legit also said this. As soon as they got Paul George, he said, "I'm a champion." That's what he said before the season started. He said, "I'm a champion." Franchise, they got a lot to prove. The players are talking about, "I'm a champion. It's my time now." And y'all ain't proved nothing yet. I'm with you. They got a lot to prove. All right. Let's stick with basketball real quick. One last topic. We're going to talk about basketball. James Harden came out or reportedly said, not only are the Sixers and the Nets on his list, but a team that I've been high on that he should go to. I legit think that people really listen to our show because he said Milwaukee now, and he said
Miami.
What do you think out of those 4? Because I think we talked about extensively on the show where he could go and where we think that he should go. But out of those 4, where do you think that the most realistic spot for him would be and should be?
I was thinking Milwaukee. I really was. And then Gilbert Arenas said something about Giannis and James Harden being basically the same guy. Just different games. But they're both ball dominant. I was like, you know what? That could be true. But I'm sticking with Milwaukee. I still think you could probably get the best draft cap. I think you could get the best trade with Brooklyn. Houston can get the best trade with Brooklyn.
Well, I think Philly can get the best trade, but I don't think they will do it.
Well, you can get the best trade with Philly if Philly won't be stupid and trade one of those guys. That's just stupid to me. That's why I don't even. To me, Philly is a dream scenario for James, but only if he can be there with
those two
guys. You trade one of those 2 guys and you bring in James Harden. I don't think you've gotten better. I think you're still in the same place. Whereas Milwaukee, they have assets that they can trade that are not Giannis. Brooklyn has assets that they can trade that are not KD and Kyrie. So I think the best fit for him basketball-wise is Milwaukee or Miami. I like Miami more because he fits what they want to do, and he can play the position that he wants to play, which is basically point guard. He can go to Miami. He can handle the ball. Only difference is with that motion offense, you can't be dribble happy. You got to be heavy your head up looking for guys moving because guys are going to be moving. Guys are going to be coming off. But they like to shoot a 3. He loves to shoot the 3. So I believe Miami is the best fit for him basketball-wise. But Brooklyn is the best place that he could go and probably win a championship right now.
I think I'm with you. I think the dream scenario, the perfect scenario, perfect storm would be Philadelphia. That's the perfect scenario for him. If you compare him with Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, because all James has to do legit is be himself. Like, go out there and score, James. Ben Simmons is going to take the best player on the other team night in, night out. James Harden got blown by. Oh, we got Joel Embiid at the rim to protect him. Like, that's your job. That's your job, is to legit do that. Without, if I had to pick another team, the perfect basketball scenario, like you said, would be, like you said, it would be Miami. Miami is that team. I know. Listen, as good as Jimmy Butler is, that could be 1A, 1B, and add Bam to it. That's a nice trio. The only thing with Miami is what do you give up to get that guy? And I don't know if Miami is willing to give up the things necessary, or the pieces necessary to get that guy.
No, Pat Riley's not a trader. He's a waited out and court you through free agency. Because, me personally, I like their pieces. I like Duncan Robinson. I like Tyler Hero. I like Kendrick Nunn. Like, those guys are solid, and they fit what Miami is doing, which is probably why Pat Riley's not going to pull the trigger for James Harden, because he's not going to want to part ways with those guys when Giannis can still be a free agent next year and we can make a run at him. And if it doesn't happen, we still are in a good place to go get another piece here or there to put us over the top. So Miami, to me, he can want to go there, but Miami, I doubt Pat Riley's going to pull the trigger on a trade. Philly would be perfect for him, but what is Houston going to get back if it's not one of those two guys?
I mean, a package surrounding Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle. For me, it would legit have to be a Paul George move, and Paul George plus move, because if I give up is Tobias Harris better than Danilo Gallinari? I would say
yes.
Okay. Tobias Harris better than Danilo Gallinari. Is Tobias Harris better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? I would say at this point in their career, I would say yes. I mean, I think Shai trends and projection is a little bit better. But Tobias Harris he's no slouch. I mean, he's big, he can shoot. But then who's that? Is Matisse Thybulle better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? I would say no. Is he better than Danilo Gallinari? I would say no. Like, is him coupled with Tyrese Maxey better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? No.
Not at this point.
So
the Sixers are going to have to probably give up the next decade worth of first rounders.
So I
to
mean,
make that trade happen, unless you're willing to part ways with one of those two guys.
And that, for me, that would be franchise crippling.
And I don't see Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers signing off on that.
Listen, players around the league have already said that guy, number 25, if he reaches peak, that's the next LeBron. If he reaches peak, his upside is the next LeBron James. Why would I part ways with that when LeBron James, again, I've been on air saying this. I think LeBron James was great. I know he went to the championship. I think his fourth year, I think it was 22, but he came straight out of high school. And then he didn't go back until he was 27. He didn't win his first championship until he was 27 with the Miami Heat. Ben Simmons is 24 years old. If we're talking about the trajectory of LeBron James, LeBron didn't win until he was 20, 26, 27. Let that man develop into who he is going to be. I would not touch that man. I would not touch him. I just wouldn't. People don't even develop jump shots until later on in their career.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that the Rockets have put themselves in a really, really bad situation, because you traded Russell Westbrook for position. You feel me? You just swapped positions.
Yeah.
Point guard for point guard. What position is James? And the guy, if you trade him for Ben, what does that do with John Wall?
John Wall, yep. Nothing. John Wall got to be out there next.
Like, then John Wall get ready to get traded, I guess. I guess he got to wait a certain amount of days before he can be traded again or whatever. But he's on the move next. So to me, I don't think Philly is a viable option for the Rockets because it doesn't make sense. Even if you could get one of those two guys, you get Joel. Then you just get Christian Wood. Then you just ink him.
Yeah.
Like what are you doing? I don't think that I think Philly would be great if you could get something outside of those two. I don't know what you want. I don't know if Philly's willing to sell their future for James Harden. I know I wouldn't be, given his track record. I'm not sacrificing my future for James Harden. So I think Milwaukee, you can get a good package. And I think Brooklyn is going to give you the best package in return, and it's going to address needs that you have. You're going to get Karis LeVert because you need another wing. You can get Spencer Dinwiddie, solidifies the strength of that bench. You can right now the Rockets might be on the outside looking into the playoffs. You make that trade for Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie, I think you're in the thick of things fighting for an 8 to a 10 seed.
I agree with you. Let me ask you this question before we move on from the basketball. You said the best package, right? Outside of Milwaukee, between Milwaukee and the Nets, in the package, who is giving up the best player? Do you think Chris Middleton is better than Karis LeVert?
No.
That's big.
I don't think Chris Middleton is better than Karis LeVert because Karis LeVert, it could have been just him being a novice and just going out there and hooping. He played better in the playoffs last year to me than Chris Middleton did. Chris Middleton is probably more talented than Karis LeVert. He has a longer track record of being better and having, better numbers. But right now, I believe that Karis LeVert is ascending, and I think he has a brighter future than Chris Middleton. So
the reason I asked that because we was talking about package. Now I'm just throwing out a little bit of the numbers, right? Karis LeVert last year, he gave you 19 points per game. He gave you 4 and 4. When I look at Chris Middleton, who is an all-star, but only because by association. I think Chris Middleton is an all-star by association. I'm being real. They both both played 29 minutes per game. I think Karis LeVert can actually be a monster playing alongside of Giannis. He's not gonna get a lot of the looks. I think he can actually be a monster playing on the side of Kevin Durant. It's just that he got that other guy who's gonna take the ball out of his hand, Kyrie. I'm gonna say this. I love Kyrie. That's my guy. Y'all know I'm a Dookie. I'm not saying that Karis LeVert is better than Kyrie at this point. But I'm gonna say this. He's bigger. He's 6'6". Kevin Durant doesn't need the ball in his hand. I think he plays better defense than Kyrie. It's just Kyrie to me is a top 5 is a top 10 player. I don't know if Karis LeVert gets those opportunities, but I think if he goes to Houston, he can potentially a backcourt with him and John Wall. I think that can be nasty. With Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench, I think that can be nasty. So I'm with you with the move. I just know we've seen Chris Middleton do it on a more consistent basis. But I'm with you. Honestly, I don't know which package is better. I think upside wise, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie has a better upside. I think at the present moment, just off of recognition and accolades, Chris Middleton is probably the bigger name in the deal. So it'll be interesting. It would be very and listen, if you got to throw Drew Holiday in the mix to get James Harden, would you do it? I don't know.
No.
Maybe. I don't know.
I wouldn't do it because Drew plays D. And that means something. And it should mean something. But if Dante Chris Middleton picks Karis LeVert, Dinwiddie picks, give me Brooklyn still.
Yeah,
I don't want any. Like, I'm not taking anything. I think Dante's going to be a solid basketball player. I'm not sure if he'll ever get to NBA All-Star level, but I think he's going to be a solid, contributor, solid rotation guy. He can probably start. I think he plays good defense, can shoot, get his own shot if he has to. But Dinwiddie and LeVert are all-star caliber players.
Real quick, we can move on, but I want to pull up stats on Spencer real quick. Spencer Dinwiddie, I think 1 year. Yep, last year. I gotta go with this guy, man. Spencer Dinwiddie last year gave you 21 a game and seven assists. 21-7. He get overlooked a lot, man.
Spencer Dinwiddie is a starting point guard in this league. It's just that simple. Unfortunately, he's got Kyrie there, and he might get traded to John Wall's team. But me personally, with John Wall on minute restrictions and coming back, I might have him come off the bench. But he's one of those diva type dudes who's not going to want to do that, which is why he's out of Washington, which is stupid in my opinion.
I'm vetoing that trade. I'm Spencer Dinwiddie, bro. Nah, bro. I'm vetoing that trade. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this, bro. Before Kyrie got here, I was the guy. I'm tired of this, bro. No. I'm not. I'm pulling the James.
But he wasn't though.
It wasn't. I know it was.
It was D'Angelo Russell. Dude, again, Spencer Dinwiddie is a starting point guard in this league. Unfortunately, he had to play behind D'Angelo Russell, and now he got to play behind Kyrie Irving. And he might get traded to play behind John Wall.
I think 17. It was 18-17, right? Where he played. If he played behind John Wall, D'Angelo Russell in 17. He was 13-6. The year before, he was 17-5. Like you said, bro. I need my time to shine, man. I need my time, bro. I need. Nope.
To me, he can be Lou Will, where he can embrace that 6-man role. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to get you many All-Star nods, but you can win some. You can win some hardware. You can keep getting them 6-Man of the Year awards, but he's trending into that Lou Will, Jamal Crawford type of role, coming off the bench and just being a stud.
Hey, listen. I need it. Listen. I'm gonna ask James, how did you do it? How did you do it, James? I don't want to be a 6-man a year no more.
See, but the thing with James was James left via free agency. You know what I mean? Or at least he threatened to leave via free agency
last year, and they traded.
And they was like, and Thunder was like, okay, we'll move you. Only difference is,
I think Spencer legit just signed a contract too.
Only difference is this. I'm not sure Spencer has that superstar ability. That's why James was able to make that demand like that. So.
All right. Well, listen. Only way we know is if I get approved, I can't prove it. If I keep getting beat behind these guys. Let's transition to college football real quick. Big Ten lifted their rule. 6 games. You no longer have to play 6 games to be in the conference championship.
Not only that, they were going to let them play Ohio, which was an out-of-conference game, to get to that 6th game. So we knew it. They need the brand. They were not going to miss out on that college football playoff, and the only team that's going to give them a shot to get in is Ohio State.
This okay. Okay. So the reason I wanted to add that question there because Dabo Swinney said he has some words for it. He has some words, and I probably think that he's not the only one that has that thinks this way. So Dabo said that, just paraphrasing, that he doesn't feel as though that Ohio State is worthy of it. He don't think that they're deserving of being in the college football playoffs. He thinks that teams like Texas A&M, and Florida should actually be ahead of them because they actually play full seasons. I think if he would have kept going, he would have mentioned teams like Cincinnati, who is a more deserving to get into that spot. And the reason they said it is because they've played full seasons. Like a regular college football season is maybe 13 games. Cincinnati has 9, I think, 9 or 10.
Yeah, you play 12 games, and everybody plays 12 games in a regular season, and then if you can make it to your conference championship, you get 13. Ohio State has played half that. Well, they will play half that. And that's only because the conference championship game.
That's the only reason they get the 6 is because of the conference championship game. So
no way they are deserving.
And what I love what he said about it is that that's on the Big Ten.
Yeah.
He said the Big 12, the SEC, and I forget the other conference. He said we were forward thinking. We were
in his conference, the ACC.
Yep, in the ACC. Yep, in the ACC. He said we were forward thinking. We were the ones that said we were going to play. We had these things in place. We had a plan in place, and we did it. Y'all opted out early. Y'all opted out prematurely. Y'all should not be rewarded. It's no fault of Ohio State. It's no fault of Ohio State, but because you are under the ruling of that commissioner or whatever it is, the AD, y'all should not be rewarded for coming late to the party. I'm sorry. Y'all had every opportunity like everybody else. We and y'all the more rested team. Let's be real. Y'all only played 5 games, 6 games. Y'all the more rested team. That's not a competitive edge either, in my opinion, because we are playing almost a full season. Y'all play half a season, and now we got to come in and play it. And we play y'all this 5-6 win team. And I don't even know who you're gonna play in the conference championship, which is probably not even gonna be a real game.
It's Northwestern.
Not a real game. So, hey, listen, I'm not gonna knock Northwestern. Northwestern mess around and knock Ohio off. You know what I mean? But I don't think this year. I don't think a Big Ten should be represented in the college football playoffs. And maybe we get our wish. Maybe Northwestern actually does knock off Ohio State, and then they mess around and jump all the way up to number 4 based off of 2020 because that's the way things are looking. But I'm with him. I don't think that Ohio State should be in, and I don't think that they should be rewarded for coming late to the party.
To me, this just continues to shine a light on the bigger entity in the situation, which is the NCAA. Because the NCAA should be the one stepping in here and saying who should be eligible and who shouldn't be eligible. That's who it should be. It shouldn't be the committee making a decision on who can play in the college football playoff this year and who can't. It should be the NCAA saying, hey, no, you only played 6 games. I understand that you're a really good football team, and probably if you had played the full season, you'd be here. But unfortunately, this year, y'all didn't want to play when everybody else wanted to play. And again, to me, that was the NCAA thing. Either everybody starts on the same time or don't nobody start at all. The NCAA dropped the ball here, and everybody, in my opinion, is going to pay the price for it. Because the group of 5 teams who never have a shot in any other season, this should have been the year that they had a shot. But they're still not going to get a shot because the NCAA doesn't have no balls. They have no balls, none, because they can't step in and say, Ohio State, not this year. Big Ten, you didn't want to start when everybody else started, so your penalty is you can't participate in the college football playoff. Is Ohio State probably one of the best 4 teams in the country? Without a doubt, they're probably one of the best 4 teams in the country. But unfortunately, this year is different. You didn't play enough games to even qualify for your conference championship. And the conference had to change the ruling But the committee can say that, yeah, you still have enough games to play for a national championship. Like, come on, this is ridiculous. And this was the year again where everything should have been different. This was the year to experiment, just like everybody else is doing. The NBA experimented with play-in games. The NFL is experimenting with a seventh team and only one team getting a bye. Like, the NCAA has changed nothing. They are going part of course. Think about it. College basketball, are they going to finish the season?
I think so.
I don't think so. So, NCAA, you're dropping the ball, and I do believe your days are numbered. This is the NCAA thing. NCAA thing to me more than it is a Big Ten and conference thing.
Like you said, you touched on basketball. You touched on football, the NFL and the NBA. Baseball expanded to 8 teams.
Yep.
NHL expanded. They had a play-in tournament as well. College.
NCAA, nothing.
I legit don't understand it. And what you just said, you said something that was huge, that was key to this whole argument is your conference had to change a rule to allow you to qualify, because before that, you didn't even qualify to play in your conference championship, let alone play in a national championship. And the rule had to be changed for you to actually play your conference championship. There was no rule in place that said that you was not going to be in the college football playoffs. There was no rule in place. Whether you played that conference championship or not, you were going to be one of the 4 teams, which goes back to your bigger picture. It has to be the NCAA.
Yeah, they have no accountability at all, man. That's a perfect job. I need to find out how I get in there, man.
Word. You just throw things at the wall.
They have literally been doing nothing for decades. Nothing for decades, because those entities operate and run as themselves. They are perfectly well-oiled machines. The conferences, think about it. Without the pandemic, we wouldn't even be talking about the NCAA other than them doing some dumb investigations in the teams. Speaking of which, I know we can talk about it.
Hey.
How do you? I have 2 problems. I want to talk about this. We might need to do a show on this, on the dumb rules for sports. One, the NFL suspension rule. I don't understand. Like, AB was suspended even though he wasn't under contract. I don't understand how he was suspended for games and he just wasn't going to play in those games anyway. But that's just me. But and then the second thing, college, right?
Mm-hmm.
How? You know what? Never mind. I don't even want to talk about it.
Nah, listen, you brought up the thing, right? Which is laughable because I think you talked about before. Like you said, AP was a free agent. He was legit a free agent. I think when you get suspended, right?
That's like get suspended from I'm fired. I'm unemployed, right? I'm unemployed, but my old employer is still gonna suspend me, and I can't get paid. But I'm fired.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you get suspended, right? Isn't it like game check suspended or something? Like, what was he suspended from? What was he suspended from? Like, he wasn't collecting a check regardless.
Yeah, I know. Never mind. We move on. But I do want to have dumb sports rules. I do want to have a dumb sports rules.
Hey, listen, booked it. We booking it. We're gonna put that shit. We're gonna put that together.
Some of this stuff is ridiculous. We're
gonna put it together real quick, man. Let's since we're talking college football, I guess since we do a pick'em show every freaking week, we gotta pick some of these dumb behind games. Don't know what games we're gonna pick. Shoot that. To me, the most intriguing game this week when I was doing it, outside of the Missouri Georgia game, because they both ranked, which I think
is a joke.
Yeah. The other game that I was looking at was like, man, Michigan State, Penn State looked like it, like the most intriguing game this week.
The best game of the week is North Carolina, Miami.
That's it. That's the best game.
That's the only game I want. That's the only game I want to see.
Yep. Yep.
And just for kicks and giggles, I'm gonna probably watch the USC UCLA game.
Nope, not watching that game either. I might tune into that game. The only game I'm gonna say the games I'm gonna tune into. The game I know I'm gonna tune into is Miami, North Carolina, possibly. It doesn't have that same feel that it did early on, but I'm probably gonna watch it because I like my man De'Aaron King and I actually like Sam Howell. I'm gonna tune into the LSU Florida game because I just want to see my man throw 4 touchdowns. I just want to see him throw 4 touchdowns.
We just had that conversation a couple of weeks ago about Coach O. Coach O. Call out sick, bro. I'm gonna be on the sideline for this one. This is gonna get ugly. Hold on, though. LSU offense has been playing better, so this could be a potential shootout. Shootout. So
I told you I like JT. I like JT Finley. If he's the starter, which I think he is, I like him. You know what I mean? So I want to see. I will tune in just to see him. But I want to see. I legit want to see my man throw for like 7 touchdowns today. I'm not gonna lie to you. So that's why I'm gonna tune into that game. But like you said, all these other games, even some of the cancels and the postponed games, I'm like,
I wasn't intrigued.
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State. For what?
For what? That's gonna get ugly.
To me, Michigan should have did Ohio State a favor. They should have just forfeited that game and then gave Ohio State the 6th win, and then we didn't even have to have a conversation about it.
Yep. But that's a rival, boy.
But your pride,
nothing from me.
Your pride said we could win in some rivalry game. No. The question was going to be how much would you going to lose by Michigan? That was the question this year.
You ain't getting that's a rivalry game, boy. You ain't getting nothing from me. Again, like I said, I don't know what games to pick. Let's start with the Georgia Missouri game. Georgia gonna win that game. They giving them 14. I like the 14. They gonna smack them.
Georgia plays good defense. Missouri usually struggles against good defensive teams, but they're home. And then I don't like the over-under. The over-under is 54, but you're saying Georgia going to win by 14, and they're offensively challenged. That's a little backwards, in my opinion.
So over-under is 54, and they're going to win by 14.
Yeah, like you're saying Georgia getting ready to roll offensively. I know Missouri's defense is bad, man, but that's asking a lot from a Georgia offense that's normally challenged. I say this: Georgia wins, but they don't cover that spread.
Yeah,
when was the last time Georgia played football?
I don't know, but I know they had a lot of cancellations. I know they do have who the freak is that starting quarterback now?
It felt like they haven't played in a few weeks.
Yeah, I know they haven't played in a few weeks, but I know they just made the quarterback change. Stetson is no longer the quarterback. It is, I want to say, I can't even think of the quarterback name now. They got like 1 million of them.
What are you talking about, Georgia?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think Jamie. No, he's injured, I think.
They're not going back to Mathis, are they?
No. Reek.
But it's not JT Daniels?
JT Daniels is the quarterback now. He's the quarterback. JT Daniels is the quarterback. Yeah, scrolling through. No. Penn State, yeah. I don't care.
Actually, they might cover the 14 with JT.
Yeah, JT Daniels is the quarterback now. So that's what I was thinking. That maybe that's why
they might cover the 14. I think he is probably the best quarterback that they have in the program.
I mean, Navy Army is always an interesting game. I'm not tuning into that game either.
Actually, I'm gonna watch that.
Navy Army.
It's always exciting, and it's a lot of pride in that game. But it's not rivalry, like hated rivalry, but it's competitive rivalry.
It's competitive rivalry. Just right, like you said, just fighting for your branch. You know what I mean?
Yep. So I'll tune into that and I'll watch it. It'll probably be a good, exciting game. Low scoring.
If you don't like passing,
oh yeah, it's gonna probably be 105 rushes at the game, 6 passes, and that 6 passes all of them came on 3rd and longs.
Yeah. Other than that, man, this a bad week of college football. So, I'm going Miami. I do like Miami over North Carolina.
To me, this is the game for the future of the conference.
Miami, North Carolina.
Yeah, because Notre Dame's going to go back out of the ACC next year.
Mm-hmm.
They're only in it this year, so they can make sure they can get possibly get into the conference championship game and get into the college football playoff because they didn't know what was going to happen with everywhere else. To me, these are the two teams these are the two best teams that compete with Clemson in that conference.
I'm with you.
So to me, this is a game of the future of that conference as far as who was going to be the second best team every year behind Clemson. Miami, you got a lot. I don't know. This is going to be whichever quarterback can make them the bigger plays, whether it's King or Howe, that's who wins this game. I like Miami at home, but Matt Brown, I think he's the best coach between these two.
I agree.
That's what's scary.
I think that Miami has the better deal. I think Miami has to. They got to prove something today. They've been disrespected all year. Like,
yeah, they're still 10th.
They ranked 10th, but they only lost to Clemson.
I think they're better than Texas A&M, but that's just me.
I think they're better than a couple of these teams, but like you said, that's just me. But I do like Miami in that game. And then the other game, you said UCLA. I'm gonna say this. I'm going with Chip Kelly today. I'm going with Chip.
I'm gonna go with the Trojans because that brand has to get back towards the top of that conference. Like we're talking, like people keep saying that as USC ready to compete for a national championship. How about USC just being ready to compete for a Pac-12 championship? How about that first?
They got.
Let's get there. So they have to do that. They usually dominate this series anyway, this rivalry, even when both teams are up. They still usually dominate this series, at least recent history. So to me, I think USC has to go out here and win this game big.
I'm riding with Chip because I think Chip get back into the good grade. Chip gets back into the coaching rankings where his name rings bells. He has to. He can't be this bad.
He isn't this bad. We know he isn't this bad. He hasn't gotten his quarterback yet, or maybe he just found his quarterback. That's where Chip Kelly is waiting for. He's in freaking Southern California. Athletes are gonna come at a premium in Southern California. Even his 3-star and 4-star athletes are good enough to compete in Southern California. Can he get the quarterback? Again, USC only favored by 3.5 points. I think that says a lot about where they feel about UCLA. And that's why I'm gonna go with UCLA. But USC has to win this game big. But I'm gonna go with UCLA.
Got you. Right. Let's transition to. I think that was all the games because I know I picked Florida. Yeah. Florida gonna. My man gonna throw 7 touchdowns. He gonna solidify, lock up the Heisman tonight. So, all right, let's transition to what everybody want to talk about, which is NFL and them picks. But before we do that, I do have a question for you. It's been floating out. I actually got 2 questions for you. It's been floating out there. As bad as the Cowboys has been, should Dak win out? Me personally, how I feel, yes, I'm out of here.
First thing smoking.
I'm going.
First thing, I don't even care if it's a 72 Pinto. I'm out of here. That ship is going nowhere. It's going nowhere. Again, when you make the hiring They have not had a real coach since Bill Parcells, and he wasn't even allowed to be himself. So with that in mind, Dak, I wouldn't even care about an extension. I wouldn't even care about it at all. Don't call me. I'm not signing it. And you go ahead. You can franchise me. Go ahead, do it. Franchise me. I won't show up for training camp, but guess what? It won't matter. It won't matter. It won't matter. I'm not. Franchise me all you want. I'm not showing up. I want out of here. I want out of here immediately. Immediately. That defense is so bad, and it's the coaching. It's the coaching. There's no way you can't stop the run or get a pass rush with those guys. So it's got to be the coaching. There's no way that the offense, no offensive line or not, should be that bad with the weapons they got. And you have Andy Dalton. He's been a Pro Bowler before. He's won a lot of games in Cincinnati in a much better division. He's won division championships with Cincinnati. So what is the problem? It's got to be the coaching. And as long as Jerry Jones is there, those are the type of coaching that he's going to get. Guys that he can control, manipulate, and run over.
I agree with you. Dak,
get out of there.
I'm out. New England look like they need a quarterback because look like Cam ain't working down there. If I'm coming down there, I need to get. If I'm coming, Bill, I need say in player personnel. I need say in player personnel. I need some weapons.
Bill Great figure a way to get y'all's quarterback.
Bill, we need picks. We need picks, Bill.
That's what Bill get ready to do. He get ready to figure out a way to get y'all's quarterback.
Listen, if he get Carson, he give up that first rounder. Listen, I do not want to get rid of Carson. I need to see what I got in Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts look like he the man, we get if it's the first rounder to get Carson. Okay.
Jalen Hurts got a big game this week.
He got a huge game, which we're gonna get into these picks. He got a huge game. Before we jump into these picks, right? You mentioned Cincinnati, which is why I want to bring up this because there's a lot of buzz around the NFL. I think Andy Dalton's coach was a big reason as to why they won some of them games. Well, Marvin Lewis, should he get another shot in the NFL as a head coach?
Absolutely. This is the thing. The team was winning. He just wasn't having playoff success. Guys are getting jobs. Adam Gase is still coaching in the NFL. Matt Patricia is going to get hired again. But Marvin Lewis is freaking coaching Arizona State defense, who they destroyed. Kevin Sumlin, bruh, it's a wrap in Arizona. That was embarrassing yesterday. That was embarrassing. But anyway, they've got to figure it out. They've got to figure it out. And I believe Marvin Lewis can coach in the NFL still. I think he can be a head coach in the NFL. And there should be a lot of jobs open this summer. A lot of jobs open. Next spring. It should be a lot of jobs open next spring. A lot. And he should be in the running for him. I don't understand why he's not. So
I'm with you.
Well, I do understand why he's not. What am I saying? I do know why he's black. But so,
I thought he was gonna get the Dallas job. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was mad when I thought he was gonna be a candidate. And I thought he was gonna get the job. I was like, dang, I don't wanna to play against Marvin. I don't want to
imagine Marvin Lewis with that defensive unit.
Yep. I wanted him here as a DC. So I'm with you, man. I think he's gonna get another job. I think there was a lot of links, maybe to Buffalo. Not the Buffalo, the Jets. Marvin, don't do it. Well, you know what? They treat their coaches well. So,
why is Jim Caldwell coaching?
Bro, you just said it. You just said it.
Like it's blatantly obvious. You know what I mean?
they got a rule. They got a rule that they're coming up with. I think implemented this year. I think they're implemented
To me,
this year.
to me that's a joke.
You could pick. I think
when you have to incentivize people to hire people, to hire minorities, then they're not doing it because they want to do it. They're doing it for the incentive. So they're still not doing it because because the person is qualified or because the person is the best person for the job. They're doing it for the incentive. Like that's even worse to me.
Yep.
But anyway,
why do I want the job? The only reason I got the job because you got the. And it ain't like you're getting the first round pick for me. You getting the compensatory pick for me, I think, or something like that. Like, I'm with you, but I think it does open up jobs for the minorities. But like you said, Marvin Lewis, man, he definitely should have a coaching job. Like Jim Caldwell had that Lions team in contention for a playoff spot. You hired Matt Patricia, and look,
haven't sniffed the playoff since.
You hired Zach Taylor to coach the Bengals over Marvin Lewis, and y'all gonna have another top pick this year. Now, listen, y'all couldn't mess up the Joe Burrow deal. Couldn't mess that up. But Marvin Lewis did it with the Andy Dalton. Let's be real. He ain't Joe Burrow. Give Marvin Lewis a Joe Burrow. He went a couple playoff games. Let's be real. So that's my take on it. I want to see more minorities. I want to see more minority coaches. We'll see, because like you said, it's gonna be a bunch of coaches.
And that goes across college football as well. Major conferences do not have minority head coaches. Vanderbilt fired Derek Mason. There are no black head coaches in the SEC. So now to be
frank, Derek Mason teammates probably deserve.
Derek Mason probably fired a couple of years ago. Same thing we covered this up with.
So, but anyway, let's move on to these picks. I usually start the Eagles first, last, man. I'm jumping right into it because it's juicy news. It's big. Jalen Hurts makes his first start there. For me as a fan, right, I want to lose out. I'm being real with you. I want to lose out because I need the pick. I want the pick.
I was going to ask you that. Is that what this move is about? I was going to ask you that. Is that what this move is about? Is this move about, you know what? Who cares if we make the playoffs? We're going to get 1-2 games, and then we're not going to get a high pick to actually elevate our team. Is that what this move is about? Just as much as seeing what you have in Jalen, and maybe at least putting it out there that, hey, man, this kid is pretty good. We can get some value for him. Because Carson is still the future at quarterback in Philly. Not taking anything away from Jalen Hurts, but Carson is the future at quarterback in Philly. But this is a tough ask, man. You're talking about your first start is going to be against this defense that right now is probably playing the best football in the entire league.
Best defense in the NFL.
This unit has been playing the best football over the past probably month of any other defensive unit in football. Welcome to the NFL, Jalen.
Maybe it was like, Carson, you know what, Carson? You've been hit 100 and I think they say he was hit 180 times or pressure 180 times. Been hit over 100 times, sacked 50 times. And I just saw what that defense did to Matt Ryan and them. Yeah, Jalen, you go ahead and try to escape. You go ahead.
Yeah, you
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about this, right? This is why it's all crazy. This is why the organization in Philadelphia, the Eagles, is trash. Because say Jalen Hurts go out here and light the Saints up. Say he goes out here and lights up the Cardinals and the Cowboys and the Washington football team. Then what do? You can't just say, you know what, well, Jalen, you threw 20 touchdowns over a 4-game span, but we're going back to Carson. Can't do that. So Jalen goes out here and throws a monkey wrench and all of this, balls out. Now it's like,
Trading.
what do you do?
Trade Jalen.
That's gonna be tough though. But this organization, I can't trust it. I don't know what that would.
I think I'm with you, or you never know. And that's just Philly, period. Sixers, heck, the Flyers sometimes do things, and you'd be like, okay, but that would be the perfect move if Jalen goes out here and shows value. There's teams out there that are in need of a quarterback who has shown that he can play in the NFL already, or that hasn't. That might be a team down. The Colts. The Colts are not going to get a high draft pick, but they still need a quarterback of the future. Jalen goes out and balls out. You might be able to move him, get a couple picks in return, or even get a couple of players to fill some holes that you need. Y'all need secondary help.
Yep.
You probably can use some more linebackers.
Oh, we definitely get the linebacker.
You definitely could use some O-line help. There's so many holes that you can fill, but you need either players to fill them or picks. If Jalen goes out and balls out, I'm moving Jalen.
Hey, listen, we gotta figure something out. Knowing us, we're gonna have both of them in playing the game. Now to the pick. It's. I know you're going with the Saints. So am I.
You don't.
I'm going with this. Well, listen, I'm going with the Saints, and I'm giving them that 7.5. I'm gonna tell you, it might get ugly. I'm hoping. My hope is Jalen Hurts goes out there, he balls, but we still get smacked because I need to see change. I need to see wholesale changes this offseason. I need us to get smacked every game, but I need my man Jalen to look good in every game. So it starts today. Starts tomorrow. Jalen Hurts goes out, balls out, but we get smacked. I think I picked it 24-42.
I think the weather plays a factor. It's supposed to be nasty and rainy tomorrow. Give me the Eagles.
Oh,
that's just the way the NFL season is going.
We don't need that. We'll need these dubs.
Saints. The Saints are going to win. The Saints.
We don't need these dubs.
The Saints going to win. I hope Jalen showcases himself well. That's it.
I'm gonna say that.
Well,
I'm gonna keep it real.
I don't expect because your secondary is terrible. And Taysom Hill is balling. Hold on. Let me go on a tangent real quick. I lost last week in fantasy because the dude still had Taysom Hill as his tight end. I had two quarterbacks. I'm like, hold on, man. I tried to add Taysom Hill. They didn't let me put him at tight end, man. They got him at quarterback. I'm like, hold on, man. I thought he was still eligible at tight end. I'm like, man, whatever, man. I think the Saints are in a tough situation because Taysom Hill is continuing to ball out. I'm not saying that Drew Brees is incapable or anything, but they're in a tough spot just for this year. I think the future is they're solidified in the future because you still got Taysom. If you want to bring back Jameis to have a quarterback competition next summer, cool. But you're fine now. You're fine to move on from Drew Brees, who's probably either nearing retiring or probably should retire maybe even a year or two ago. But I think the Saints are fine. That defense is going to be great. The only thing is they don't have a lot of film on Jalen. So it could be a half of Jalen balling out and them trying to make the adjustments to him because it's not going to be the same dynamic as Carson. As good as Carson is at moving around in the pocket and he can extend plays, he's no Jalen Hurts on that as far as an athlete and ability to run the football. And I think that is what everybody is saying anyway, because you can't protect Carson. He's running for his life anyway. Why not go with the quarterback that can actually run with the football?
And this is why I think this game is going to be exciting and interesting. So I'm with you with all your points and takes on that. Like I said, these 1 o'clock games. Texans, Bears. You know where I'm going. I'm going with the Texans. Deshaun Watson balling. And they ain't got their first round pick, so they ain't got nothing to lose. They might as well just keep trying to win games. So I think Deshaun Watson actually wins this game. Yo, the Bears, were they 5-1, 4-1? They was undefeated at some point. They was something.
They were 4-1 and I think 5-2. I want to say
5-7 right now.
Yeah, they were. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, they were 5-1. They've lost 6 games in a row. Yep.
At what point is Matt Nagy on the hot seat? That's what I want. We're talking about all these coaches. What point is Matt Nagy on the hot seat?
See, to me, this is, and I'm getting ready to be 100%. To me, that Matt Nagy and other coaches who don't get a say or they don't really have a huge say in personnel, I think they should get passes. This team isn't bad because Matt Nagy. The team is bad because they don't have a running game or a quarterback. How you not have both? The defense is always on the field. The defense gets short fields all the time, but yet the defense is still good enough to be a top 10 defense. The Bears have never had. I don't think the Bears have ever had a quarterback in franchise history. No, I can't think of one.
So them, they picked Mr. Trubisky over Pat Mahomes and Deshaun Watson.
Like that's not Matt Nagy's fault. It's not Matt Nagy's fault that they went and they traded for Nick. Like, why do y'all keep bringing in Nick Foles? Nick Foles can only play in one place, and that's Philly. That's it. He can only perform in Philly. He can't perform nowhere else except for in an Eagles uniform. That's it. I don't know. Like, I'm with you. Matt Nagy's probably going to be fired. He's going to be the scapegoat. But man, it starts way higher than him. It starts way higher than him.
Yeah. He, like you said, Matt Nagy is not the one that he would love to have Patrick Mahomes with Deshaun Watson. He would love it.
Mitchell Trubisky.
They also traded up traded up to get Mitchell.
They traded up to get Mitchell.
Because they traded with Tamonte. They traded with the Yeah, anyway. Yep, but I'm going with the Titans. I'm going with the Texans in that game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Texans too, just because. And this is the thing. The Texans' defense is trash. Absolute trash. And here we are saying that the Bears can't win a home game against a team that don't have no defense. And they have a defense.
And Vegas is giving them the points too, plus one.
That says a whole lot. You're home against a team that don't play defense, and you still not even favored to win.
Well, I think it got to be changes down there as well.
Here we go, the Andy Dalton Bowl.
Andy Dalton Bowl. Now for me, right? As an Eagles fan, I want the Cowboys to win. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want the Cowboys to win this game. I need the Eagles to get as high as they can with these picks. So I need the Bengals to actually win this game against the Cowboys. I don't think it'll happen, but I need them to actually win this game. But yeah, I think I'm going with the Bengals. I don't care. I'm going with the Bengals. I like what I seen last week out of who the freak is Allen, the quarterback. I like what I seen from him last week. Defense plays well. I think the Bengals actually win this game.
Here's what I'll say. Both of these teams are in a situation where it's probably beneficial to lose than it is to win. But the Cowboys, they're not a threat. I don't think they're a threat to you guys as far as in the draft. Just because they have a track record of drafting best player versus need.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year, there was really no need for CeeDee Lamb. There was really no need for CeeDee Lamb, but that was the best player available at the time, so they took it. So for me, the Cowboys could losing or winning It don't make a difference for the draft. For the Bengals, it makes a difference because they have more needs, but they also got questions answered with Joe Burrow. Now you have your quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's hurt. You don't know what the future is with him. You don't know if that knee is ever going to be the same. But if he comes back and he's who he was before, you're fine. So I don't know if the Bengals going to address quarterback. They could.
Good.
They very well could address quarterback in the draft this year or next year. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys in this game because I believe that they still believe that they're in the fight for the NFC East.
I believe they are. I believe they are, and I believe that they think they are as well. So I'm agree with you, but I'm going with the Bengals. Here's what's interesting, real quick, of what you just said when we talk about the Bengals draft position. I know they need offensive line help, but if Jamar Chase is sitting there for them, do you take Jamar Chase
Immediately?
That's interesting. That's intriguing, interesting. That's his guy. His guy right there.
Not only that, and I hate to say it, we're moving towards an offensive week. You need weapons. And AJ Green is aging. He's not who he used to be. At least it don't look like he is who he used to be. You still got Tyler Boyd. You got Joe Mixon. You throw Jamar Chase. And if Joe can come back, you have a solid offensive weaponry. We can address the O-line and all the other holes later in the draft. But if Jamar Chase is there, you take Jamar.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I think on our mock on our page, I think that's why I got them going with Jamar Chase. So I'm with you, bro. Chiefs, Dolphins. I'm gonna tell you this intrigue. This there's a scroll through. Let me see if there's a scroll through. There's a couple marquee games this week. This being one of them. Of course, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because they got Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. But this ain't no cakewalk. Chiefs aren't just going to go out there and light them up 40 points or so. The Dolphins are actually going to be in this fight. It's at home. This could be a game that the Chiefs actually lose, but I am going to go with the Chiefs because I think the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. And like I said last week, the only team to me that the biggest threat to the Chiefs is the Bills. I don't think that the Dolphins actually have the firepower as of right now to actually compete with the Chiefs. So I won't go with the Chiefs. And they're giving them 7. I think they cover that 7.
Another interesting Vegas choice here. Chiefs favored by 7. But the over-under is only 50.5. So, low-scoring game is what they're saying. Mid-20s, which is low-scoring these days. I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Ooh. I'm going to tell you. Go ahead. Not mad.
Only because I think their defense can cause some havoc. That's it. I believe their defense can cause some havoc. And Chiefs can't win all the games, can they? They're gonna lose again at some point in time, right? So I just think that the Dolphins are in the midst of trying to make a playoff push and win now. I'm not sure who's starting today, Tua or
Tua. I think they said Tua.
So Tua is starting tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins just because of that. I think the Chiefs they're fine.
Yeah,
they can drop a game or two, and they also have a huge game next week.
Like I said, they got a huge game next week, so I don't think they're gonna drop this one.
They got a huge game.
They might.
They could get caught looking ahead the next week.
Yeah, they might. Like I said, because they listen. The Chiefs, boy, they got 2-game stretch where you gotta be in your game. You gotta be in your game.
Yep.
Cardinals, Giants. Interesting thing about this game. This game is the loser is still in the wild card, which is crazy. Like the Giants and the Cardinals. Cardinals, I was super high on them all year, so whatever. They I don't know if it's Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know who fault is it right now. Just throw DeAndre Hopkins the ball. That's the problem. Just throw him the ball. Anyway, of course I'm going with the Cards this week. They're giving them 2.5. I like the Cards this week, and I like the 2.5. I don't know if Daniel Jones actually comes back. They got to find a way to scheme more runs with Kyler Murray to get him in the end zone. But yeah, I'm going with the Cards.
I think this is interesting. The Giants just went on the road and beat the Seahawks, and then they come home and they're dogs against the Cardinals, who just dropped the game. Are the Giants feeling themselves, or are they legit who they are? I think if they're feeling themselves, they lose this game. But if they are really believing in themselves and trusting that we're becoming a better football team and they're humble, I'm going to take the Giants. So,
hey, listen,
team,
I like it.
Those team coming across country, 1 o'clock game. Looks like it's going to be nasty, rainy out there. Give me the Giants.
I like the Giants. As tough as it is, I like what I'm seeing out of them. That's a well prepared team, so I'm with you. This one, Vikings Bucks, man, God darn, how the mighty have fallen. I'm gonna go with the Bucks, but the Bucks defense, their secondary, have been getting torched lately, and they got a monster coming in. They got a monster coming in. They got Justin Jefferson coming in. If they can somehow get Dalvin Cook running, going, this can be a very, very, very difficult game for the Buccaneers. I don't think the Buccaneers will lose because some way, somehow, I think Tom Brady pulls it out. But this is a real interesting game. Give me the Bucks in this game. I don't like the 6.5, but give me the Bucks.
The Bucks can't lose this game. Their playoff lives are almost dependent on it at this point. Coming off a bye, all the turmoil. This is the stretch run. If you're going to go on a run to host the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, it's got to start now. And I believe it does. And this has nothing to do with anybody other than Tom Brady. I don't see Tom Brady allowing this team to fold. I don't. And that's why I'm going to go with the Bucks to win this game and cover the spread.
How about the Vikings real quick? They win this game. They 7-6, bro. 7-6, and they already in the wild card. They already got that number 7 seed locked up. From where they started to where they are now, man. Shout out to my man Mike Zimmer. The Vikings in the playoff. They win this game. That's the hot team right now. The Poop Bowl. I mean the Broncos versus the Panthers. I don't know who won this game, but
Christian McCaffrey coming back. Give me the Panthers.
Yeah, I think Christian coming back. AJ Boye suspended. I'm with you. Give me the Panthers. Christian McCaffrey too much for him. Yeah, I like the 3. Give me the Panthers. 21-24. I think that's a good game. I think that's how it's going to play out. I'm gonna say this: Titans, Jags. Give me the Jags. Give me the Jags. I think they got a monster running back. I think Mike Glennon has actually been playing well. I think the defense has actually been playing well. I think DJ Shark will light them up. I think Mike Glennon makes enough plays to actually beat them. They don't bottle up Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, he does what he does to them all the time. But give me the Jags in this game. I think that's going to be the upset of the week. Jaguars lose that game. Jaguars win that game because we got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with the Titans. With the Titans.
This is a Derrick Henry game. Derrick Henry goes for 200 plus and 3 touchdowns tomorrow. Titans, they gotta win. They can't lose this game. This not the game. This isn't where you start losing. You got embarrassed last week against the Browns at home. You got to take that frustration out on the Jaguars this week.
I like it. I just think the Browns showed the blueprint they showed it. And I think the Jags going to feed off of that. They got a run. I think he's the number 4 rusher in the league. I think he's going to have a big game. I could be wrong, but that's a bold prediction right there. Colts Raiders. I'm high on both teams. Give me the Raiders. Give me the Raiders in that game. I think they bounce back. They play good defense. I think they build on what they did against the Jets with that long run. I think that that long pass the win. I actually think that translates over because I don't think the Colts have anybody to stick Henry Ruggs either. So give me the Colts give me the Raiders in this game. And I like them. I don't like the Colts to cover the 3.
I am torn. I'll say this. The loser of this game is eliminated from playoff contention. So give me the Raiders.
Oh, because
I don't believe in the Colts.
Because that benefits you. Because if the Colts get knocked out, the Ravens in.
No, I mean we hold a tiebreaker with them. We hold a tiebreaker with them anyway. So even if we finish time, we cool because we got the head to head. I just don't believe in the Colts. I believe in the Raiders more. If this was in Indianapolis, I probably would take the Colts though.
Yeah, I got you. Nah, listen, I'm with you. I like the Colts. I like the Raiders. I believe in the Raiders a little bit more. I believe that quarterback is playing a little bit better. I like that running game. So I like the Raiders in this game.
Now that may be a factor because I don't know if Josh Jacobs is healthy.
I thought they said he was coming back. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know.
I know he's still out on my fantasy team.
Okay, so he might still be up.
I'm not sure. No, they gotta win this game though.
Yeah, the Raiders definitely gotta win this game. So I like it. Colts aren't necessarily because Colts can still actually win the division, but they got a tough road ahead of them. So, Jets, Seahawks. I don't know what team. I don't know. The Seahawks, the Jets actually should lose this game. They should want to lose this game. Seahawks 13.5. They came off an embarrassing loss to the Giants. I like the Seahawks, but the fact that I'm even thinking about it. So
I know, right? That's how I felt. I'm like, why am I thinking about this twice?
I like the Seahawks, but yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, man, I don't like that 13.5. I like the Seahawks though, man. They haven't shown that they can be a 2-touchdown win against somebody in this past couple of weeks. So
I was gonna say they haven't been the offensive team in the last few weeks that we had come accustomed to. But when you lose a home game that you ain't had no business losing last week to the Giants, not saying that the Giants are trash, but that's a game that you're supposed to win it if you're a Super Bowl caliber team. You got to cover that 13.5 this week against the Jets. You got to cover it. At home, you got to cover it. They better win this game in convincing fashion.
Hold on. Steelers. I mean, not Steelers. Green Bay, Lions. Why can't I find? They ain't giving. Okay, they didn't give no. They ain't got no spread on that.
There's no line for that one yet, so
There's no line.
that's not a good sign. That means
Um,
Vegas is trying to figure out some insider information before they give it to you.
I'm going with the Packers, man. But again, like Vegas, you never know. You never know with it. You never know. Just you never know with with these teams. You never know what Packers team is going to show up. Like I legit 2 weeks ago thought the Packers was going to lose to the Jags. That's just how they played. That's how they played. They look like they were going to lose to the Jags. So I like the Packers in this game, but like I said, you never know. I like them by a touchdown. I like them by a touchdown.
This is Aaron Rodgers usually dominates his division, so I don't see why that wouldn't change. So give me the Packers big.
So Falcons Chargers, right? The battle of one black coach that could keep his job, and the one black quarterback coach that could lose his job. I think Raheem Morris is doing a lot and enough to actually even get interviewed.
At least considered. Yeah, he should at least be considered for the job.
So, he should, like you say, he should at least be considered an interview for the job. Anthony Lynn.
After 45-0 last week, he's fired.
That being said, give me the Lions. You just lost 45-0 to Cam Newton and them has no offense. I don't care if Julio playing or not. Julio and them, Kyle Ridley and them girls light them up. Give me the Falcons in this game.
Yeah, give me the Falcons in this game. Justin Herbert, I have a bounce back game against that Falcons defense, but I just think the Falcons will have too much firepower for the Chargers.
With you. This one is really interesting, intriguing. Because I think the winner of this game is actually still in the wild card hunt. But I think the Washington football team front four is too much for Nate Mullins. Give me the Washington football team in this game. As much as I hate to pick them. Yeah, give me the Washington football team. But I'm secretly praying for the 49ers.
Here's the thing with this game. Here's the thing. It's almost like the battle of the strengths. I think the best unit on the 49ers is their offense, and the best unit on the football team is their defense. Who's going to win that battle? Mullins turns the ball over. Washington doesn't really force turnovers, but they create pressure, which can lead to turnovers, and that is the scary part. But I think San Francisco establishes the run game, and then they don't get in positions where they have to, where that pass rush can really impact the game because they can run the football. Unlike Pittsburgh couldn't run the football last week. I think San Francisco can, and I think that's why they win. So I'm going to give me the Niners.
Like it. It's my game of the week. Steelers, Bills. Know where I'm going. Rocking with them all year. They should be 9-2 or they should be 10-2 as opposed to 9-3. Josh Allen continues his MVP type season. Give me the Bills, man. Top 5 rush defense in the NFL. Steelers can't run the ball. They're one-dimensional. Josh Allen lights up this defense. No Bud Dupree. No Ryan Spillane. No Devin White or Devin Bush. Give me the Bills. Josh Allen has 4 seconds to throw all year. He gonna light this defense up. Steelers create pressure, but if they don't get to Josh Allen, he gonna light this defense up.
Give me the Steelers. I think all this talk of these guys going down is gonna motivate that defense. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick and T.J. Watt have a huge impact on the game tomorrow night, and they help Pittsburgh win the game. I say Pittsburgh's defense scores a touchdown tomorrow night to help put that game away.
Okay. Now this is your game. Ravens, Browns. This was a couple of weeks ago. This would be a no-brainer for me. But I am gonna go with the Ravens. I'm a Lamar fan. I like the Ravens. Like we talked about last week, he is still the most explosive player in the NFL. We've seen it last week. I do like what Baker and them is doing. Nick Chubb and them are doing. But the Ravens need this game. So give me the Ravens.
Yeah, of course I'm going with my Ravens. But here's what I'll say. The Browns are probably third or fourth best team in the conference. I think they're better than us. They're playing better football than us right now. But I think our desperation is what's going to play a factor in this game. And I think Baker feeling himself now. And that's the type of guy that when he starts feeling himself, it can go either way. He can either play really, really good or he'll play terribly. He's not just going to have an okay game. So, and I don't think he can light up our defense. I think they can run the football and establish it and be effective in it. They were able to do it last year. I think they can do that, but I don't think Baker can make the plays against our secondary that he was able to make against the Titans last week, and that's a difference.
Yeah, I don't think he can do that. So I think y'all make them one-dimensional. They run the ball. So I'm with you. Final thoughts. My final thought on the shit for today is holiday season coming up. I think we have what's today, the 12th. So you got about almost 2 weeks away. I always this was came to my mind, man. It's better to give than receive, right? I think during this season we always think about having our hands out and stuff like that. There's a lot of people out there that are in need, especially with COVID, with COVID and everything like that, and COVID numbers going up a little bit. I think it's just better. It's better to give to receive. You know what I mean? And not just your family members and stuff like that. Those you should be giving to your family throughout the year. But there's somebody out there, a needy family out there that is in need. You know what I mean? So find somebody to give back to.
Absolutely. Love that. I'm sticking with mine. Either expand it or don't have it. Y'all gonna have it though. I know that. Y'all gonna have it. Y'all. But y'all need to expand it, man. This is ridiculous. And get some accountability, NCAA. But I am going to send y'all my resume. I like to have a job with no accountability too.
Hey, listen, I love it. Like my man said, I'm about to send my resume as well. I don't know what the qualifications is, but it don't look like there are any qualifications.
No job description or anything.
You ain't gotta have no prior experience, no nothing. Just can I find it on Indeed?
Yep. I'm about to go search as soon as we done broadcasting.
Hey, listen, that's our show for the day. It's the holiday season, like I said. So, season greetings to you guys. Make sure that you give them back. Make sure that if you do want to talk about anything on our show, whether it's personally, culturally, you want to just debate sports or whatever, tap into our on our Facebook page. Make sure you let us know there. Send us an email, whatever it is. Our link tree is on our page. But that's the show for the day. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Until next time. Speak.
Peace.